New Gojira, a new bass from the past. New Gojira, a new bass treasure from the past, and the reason why your practice is only 50% effective. Metal Bass Monday. So, the big news is new Gojira. I've had people message me about it a lot. I've seen a lot of discussion about it. And I just wanted to bring up some things about the new single and weigh in a little bit about it quickly here. Because I think it exemplifies a number of things I've tried to get across on the channel. A lot of bands that have been putting out new efforts over the past couple of years, I gotta admit I haven't been super excited about. I think things have gotten kind of redundant with metal, and that there isn't a lot of personality in things. There's a ton of repetition out there, and there definitely needs to be a step up at some point. And I gotta say that Gojira is an exception to the rule. I've liked these guys for a long time, but I feel like this is really a new level, for using an overused term. But there's an intensity in this that I feel like a lot of stuff is kind of manufactured to sound intense, but Gojira's putting out the real deal. And what I especially think is worth checking out is the bassist performance in here. For a long time, a lot of the bassist role in Gojira was kind of how it is in a lot of metal, where they're just more of a sound production tool. He kind of fits in the mix and supports the guitars, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's your job, that's a lot of bass players do. That's what they do. But I really kind of think he deserves a little bit of applause for stepping forward this time. If you listen to the new single and you pay attention, especially to the chorus, you can hear what I've tried to get across in some of the creativity things that we've talked about, and things is he's feeling things out with the drums, which the drums are just killing on this track. But especially during the chorus, when the guitar spreads out and leaves more space, he steps forward and does these really beautiful lines that just really moving and intense and aggressive at the same time as he's adding some melody to things. And I think it's a really great example of a number of things I've tried to get across, and bass lines that just don't follow the guitar. He saw his opening and he went for it. And that's really, really cool to see. I think it really makes the track that much better. I don't think that chorus would at all carry as well as it does if it weren't for him stepping out with the bass line. So it's well worth checking out. I'm glad to see it. I'm pretty psyched for the new album and everything. They're one of the bands that I hold in fairly high esteem, and I don't give that out too easily. I think there's, like I said, a lot of repetition going on in metal, unfortunately, right now. And Gojira's breaking that mold, and they have one thing that I've always preached about, if you watch the channel at all, is they have an identity. Like the second they start playing, they're one of those bands that you know them when you hear them. You know the guitar sound, you know the style of the drums, very distinct vocal approach. So that's what I feel like is missing, and these guys are absolutely standard bearers for it right now. So really good stuff. Definitely check out the bass on it. There's some really cool and interesting things, and he deserves our applause for taking a chance and really contributing to the structure of the song outside of just doing the usual following of the riff. So next up, I'm going to be doing something that, thank you for all of your input about the bass treasures from the past type of thing. I was starting to add in, like I did with the Dean bass last week, digging up older gear, things like that that are really cool, and trying to bring it to people's attention and, just show some cool stuff, because everybody's always focused on what's cool and new and things like that. And sometimes there's great gear to be had that just got passed over for whatever reason. So because of your input, and again, thank you, I'm going to announce it on the channel, talk a little bit about it, but then I'm going to do a full separate video feature on it. And so for this week, that piece of gear is the Peavey Rudy Sarzo, the original series, signature bass. And I know, most signature stuff, kind of goofy, things like that. This is a definite exception. I don't know whether you're a fan of Rudy Sarzo or not, and it doesn't matter. Whatever you think of his playing, the guy knows how to get great basses made for him. This thing is made of ash, neck through the body. And you can see I pulled the back off so you can see it's got the Dyna circuit from the other really popular American-made PVs of that series, the Dyna bass circuit. But stringers, multiple, flame maple neck through the body, great tuners, huge slab of ebony like you don't see anymore for the fingerboard. I mean, that's just a huge chunk. And this is basically, and I'll go more into it, but a copy of two other basses. One where I think they really succeeded is this is a lot like the Aria SB series that he used before he came to PV. And man, it feels like it. The other is they tried to emulate, and you can even see from the shape of the pickups from Alembic, which mixed results on that one. But there's a lot of cool stuff on this, so be sure to hit that like, subscribe, all that stuff, and hit the bell so you get the alert for when I do the full examination on this. And yeah, definitely something that got passed over, maybe because of the Sarzo name or just American PV kind of reputation in general. Everybody looked down on them for a while, but they're finding out the craftsmanship on these in the 80s going through the 90s in the American factory was really amazing. So I'm definitely digging this one. I look forward to doing the full episode. I'll see you on that one. Why is your practice only 50% effective a lot of times, and what can you do to change it? Some simple stuff here, but some things people don't necessarily always think about. And the secret to it is that we tend to, and I won't get into the science part of it, but we tend to always emphasize the muscles that activate. So if we're talking about a right hand plucking, this motion, the one that actually hits the string. And with fretting, the notes going like this. What we don't think about is that you don't just go down, you have to lift up. Same thing here. Every time you activate a note on either hand, you have to recover from it. And that's the weak spot. This is what I call the crocodile effect. If you've ever seen these things where people like wrestle alligators and things like that, you know, an alligator can slam its mouth shut with incredible force. Like they can, you know, take down animals much larger than themselves because they have the muscles to close their jaw are incredibly strong. The problem is the ones on the other direction are incredibly weak. So you can even have a kid that can grab them by the mouth and just hold their mouth shut. So you've got this massive predator that can be brought to heel just because he can't open his mouth. It's the same type of effect going on here with going in the other direction. Your recovery muscle needs to be worked out too. And because there isn't a real efficient way to do it, that tends to be a weak spot. It's like if you can slam down really quick, but then it takes you a while to lift your hand back up, that's cutting your speed in half by 50%, and most people don't even think about it. So some simple things that you can do to really not only see this effect, but a real quick one is, if you're plucking, go to the other side of the string so that your strike goes up and see how awkward that feels to try and do that. So you could do some simple stuff to just add resistance. And that's going to help work out. And you'd be surprised after just a few minutes of doing this, how much it can make a difference in, just your feel inside that session. So one is, when you've got your fretting hand, just put your hand behind it and lift. So I'm doing this with my hand. I'm just adding resistance. And then you can fret with all your fingers and lift, lift, lift. Do each one. I know it's hard to see that there, but basically I've got my hand here and I'm just pressing against it, using this finger to go forward like that. So just hold it down, try and lift the fingers. Back. But do it, in a fretting position. I'm lifting up there just to be able to hopefully help you see. Do it here. Same thing down here. Since you're always going this way, just put your hand in the way and pluck the opposite direction. Or you can just do this. See? Just doing those. Doing those two simple exercises, I do it as warm-ups a lot of times when I can tell I'm getting slower, is just keep that one from going, keep that one from moving. And you can do them one at a time if you want. Just almost like let it try and lift up and, shove back against it. And that's going to help get those muscles that are on the recovery working. If I do that, say 3 minutes on each hand, just doing those, I instantly notice a little bit of cleaner, sharper plucking, and that my note hits are accurate and feel a little stronger. So that can really help out. And again, that's something that we talk about a lot here. And this can work well in conjunction with some of the other lessons we've done, but it's always going micro with your playing and trying to find the little pieces of things that have been missed. It's finding out that one little tiny thing that may make a huge difference to your playing, but gets overlooked quickly. And this is, one of those items where it's surprising how little we talk about it, because there just isn't a good methodology on exercising that. But it's like, if you've got to go in two directions, why do you only exercise one? Why do you only build proficiency with one? If you're alternate picking, you don't just do down picking, you have to go both directions so that your wrist can move, just as well going on the upstroke as it does the down. Got to do the same thing for your fingers on this hand and your fretting here. So try them out and come up with your own versions of it. There's no real methodology for this, so it's wide open. You could do a ton of different things to try and get some resistance going. I also used to be able to put my hand on the table and I would just put my hands like this and try lifting. Just get those going. Keep a finger on and lift so that you're shoving them back in the other direction. I'm sure you can come up with endless combinations of this. All of them are perfectly valid. Just work on getting your I guess it would be called refractive muscles going on in the opposite direction. So try that out. And have you worked with this concept before? If so, hit me up in the comments. And if you've got some exercises you've developed, or I know even some martial arts guy or physical therapy guys have done things like this before, let me know how that's worked out or give some hints. I'm always looking for new stuff and love to share it. So hit me up down below and I'll see you down there. And so that's going to wrap it up for this week's Metal Bass Monday. As always, I appreciate you joining in. And if you would like to get the additional content and other things that are going on, my Patreon and Subscribe Star links are down below. It'll be great to see you. I'm going to be running a couple more polls over there to add in a couple new features. And I've got an interview coming up that's going to debut there first, and we'll have some patron-only things on it. That's going to be a lot of fun, too. As always, thanks to my patrons. It's always appreciated. And if you're not able to help out the channel or be a patron, totally understand. If you just like to keep the coffee cup full, I do links down below where you can even tip in crypto. A little bit of Bitcoin to fill up for a bit of coffee. Always helps out. So, as always, thank you all so much. Hope you enjoyed the episode. I'll see you in the comments down there below, and I'll see you on the next one.